What's up, Leafs Nation? Welcome back to another game preview. I'm Zack Phillips, and today we're going to be taking a look at game number 30 of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season as they take on the Detroit Red Wings here tonight. We'll get into the line combos, we'll get into the power play shakeup, and we'll give out our best bet. And this is all a presentation of Bet365. Bet365 is a proud partner of the Leafs Nation pregame and the Leafs Nation After Dark. Open an account with Bet365 today. Bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, N-A-T-I-O-N. That's code NATION, all caps. So whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. All right, let's start with this. We have a shakeup in the Leafs lineup here tonight, just the regular lineup, and I kind of like it. I kind of like what we're looking at here tonight. Obviously, the first line is going to remain intact here for this Leafs team. You're going to get Nyes, Matthews, Marner, who are going to stay together. Pacioretty, Tavares, and Nylander are together on your second line. And I'm not going to lie to you, the second line was far better than what we saw out of the first line in the game the other day. And I don't think it was particularly close. I think the second line created so many more chances. I thought they were far more dangerous. I thought they were every single time on the ice, they were pushing, making pressure, creating pressure in the offensive zone. They were able to generate opportunities. They looked good, whether it was on the forecheck, if it was physicality, if it was winning battles. It was amongst all three of them, JT, Pacioretty, and Nylander. They were all more than capable of doing so. That first line was not up to par with what the second line was doing. They were not meeting the standard set by the second line. Now, mind you, I think it was a lofty bar set by the second line because I thought they looked really good, but I want that first line to match that here tonight in this game against the Red Wings. This is the big change, and one thing that I was pushing and waiting for people to say, hey, let's not overreact to what this team is here yet, what the bottom six is here yet, because there's still some guys out, and one of those guys was Bobby McMann. He returns to the lineup here tonight, slots in on the third line, and I know it's only one guy that jumps in. Is Bobby McMann a quote-unquote difference maker? Maybe not in the sense of just a one-off, one instance kind of situation where you just look at McMann, but I will tell you the difference I think he makes. I think he makes a difference on the line. I think he makes Fraser Minten better. I think he's a better line partner, line mate for Max Domi, and I think this makes the line better as a whole. The other things that this does is push guys down and push guys out of the lineup. So sticking with McMann here and that third line, it moves Pontus Holmberg off, a guy who I don't think has been very good this season, and Bobby McMann was a guy who ahead of his injury was playing pretty well, was filling into his role pretty well in replacement of Max Pacioretty, who was down with injury. Now McMann returns to this lineup. He brings a physical presence. He brings a little bit of goal scoring ability. He brings some decent hands. He brings some speed. He brings defensive ability. Like, Bobby McMann is a major upgrade over Pontus Holmberg, and he's an offensive upgrade over Pontus Holmberg as well, which helps Minten and it helps Domi. So maybe it gets those guys' games going. I think this third line has a much better opportunity to impress us here tonight with Bobby McMann in that spot and Pontus Holmberg out, because I don't think it's just Pontus Holmberg versus Bobby McMann, who does more. I think it's who helps the other guys more. And I think Bobby McMann is a much bigger impact player for the other two guys on that line in Minten and Domi than Pontus Holmberg was. Now let's go to the trickle-down effect. Where else does this impact the team? It's going to impact you in your fourth line because Ryan Reeves comes out of this lineup. Pontus Holmberg slides over and plays the left wing alongside Connor Dewar and Steven Lorentz. Now, Connor Dewar, I think, is basically just a Pontus Holmberg, but better, and he's been playing, I think, pretty well. We heard out of Berube, he likes what Dewar brings. He likes the way Dewar plays, etc., etc. I mean, obviously, he's not a guy who's going to stand out to you offensively, and that's fine. Not every single guy does, and I think that's where Leafs fans oftentimes need to temper expectations. I see far too many times online or in the chat or in the comments of the videos after the fact, well, Connor Dewar can't score. It doesn't matter, because Connor Dewar is not necessarily here to score. He may chip in here and there. Steven Lorentz may chip in here and there, and Pontus Holmberg, good God, at some point, he's going to start to have to chip in here and there like he did the other day against the New Jersey Devils. Maybe he can continue that. But these guys bring other elements to the game that this team has not had before. How many times did we go into playoffs and say, wow, our bottom six got their teeth kicked in by the other team because they were bigger, stronger, faster, better defensively, whatever it may be. Our bottom six is much more built to go head to head with other bottom sixes when you get to the playoffs here now. And a bottom six like this and a fourth line like this is much more geared towards that. I think they can improve. I think they will improve. I don't think Tree Living is happy with this. And personally, I don't think Pontus Holmberg will be on the playoff roster. But mind you, in game 30 of the regular season, I think that this is good enough. Like, let's leave it at that. This is a good enough lineup for me to look at here tonight and say, hey, I've got a level of excitement to watch how these guys play together. Those are your forward lines ahead of tonight, courtesy of Daily Faceoff. The other things, obviously, here to look at would be the defensive pairings and our power play. So what we've got for defensive pairings does not change, and I think that this is great. You're going to have Jake McCabe, Chris Tanev, Morgan Riley, Ekman Larson, Benoit, and Timmins. In that order there, obviously. McCabe and Tanev, the best defensive pairing in hockey before McCabe went down with an injury. Morgan Riley and Ekman Larson. Ekman Larson seemed to have calmed Morgan Riley down, allowed him to excel at his offensive game, not have to worry too much about defensive game, and Ekman Larson filled in the gaps. Physicality, the defensive side of things. He's a great puck mover. He's a great first pass. He's great at puck retrievals, all those things. He's allowed Morgan Riley to just kind of calm down and not have to be the one and only guy on that pairing who can do any of those things. It's kind of eased a lot of pressure. The third pairing, Benoit and Timmins. There are moments where they've been a little bit shaky more recently, but for the most part, big picture, grand scheme, whatever you want to say, the bottom pair has been pretty good. Connor Timmins' game has changed drastically under Craig Berube. He has improved significant amounts. Simon Benoit has not been as exciting or consistent maybe as last year, but he's still being pretty steady. I think people are looking for him to wow us the way he did last season, and I think the reality is that's just not going to happen. Like, that's probably just not who he is, and he was this new shiny toy that we kept looking at and going, wow, look at Simon Benoit, look at Simon Benoit. Well, now we're kind of just used to it. So unless he does something extraordinary on top of that, I don't think he's going to blow us away, but I think he's been pretty steady. The one thing that I think is going to change here tonight and change our looks is the power plays. So starting with the first unit, no more 5-forward power play here. Nylander, Tavares, Marner, Morgan Riley, Matthew Nyes bumped off, and Morgan Riley in there. Austin Matthews, the other guy on that first unit as well. The second unit now is obviously going to look like Nyes, Domi, Pacioretty, OEL, and Timmins. I wouldn't be surprised if Connor Timmins gets bumped off this for them to play William Nylander the full 2 minutes. But that being said, there is a level of curiosity here about if they decide to change things up as a whole and just not give Willie the full 2 minutes with the rest of the change that they've got going on. So that's your power play units here tonight with these guys. The biggest thing, obviously, here is just the breaking up of the 5-forward unit, which I think it was bound to happen. They were not looking good. They were struggling defensively. Like, you had no defenseman out there. No matter what you think about Morgan Riley and his defensive abilities, he's a defenseman. Like, he is a defenseman, and this unit had none of it before. There were times where they would just get hemmed in their own zone, beaten on breaks, whatever. Put back there a defenseman. Let's start to get things back to normal where we were before. This power play, though, I will say, I don't know if it's going to be fixed here tonight because this is a unit we've seen a billion times before. They need to turn things around. They've just not been good enough right now. So hopefully we see them get on the board tonight and start to generate some pressure and actually create some dangerous chances because it hasn't been good enough yet. Second unit, I don't know. You fit Willie in there with Timmins or in the Timmins spot. That kind of actually looks like a pretty dangerous unit right now. So that's what we've got for our lines. Goaltending wise, it looks like we're going to get Joseph Woll here yet again. Hildeby is being recalled from the Marlies. Stolarz will not play this weekend, which would indicate, obviously, that we're going to get a Hildeby game tomorrow against the Sabres. 5 o'clock game on a Sunday. You're not going to roll out Joseph Woll on back-to-backs. He'll go here tonight, and then tomorrow Hildeby, the likely goaltender, unless something drastic happens here tonight or any major changes occur. But that's what I'm thinking is going to happen. That's my prediction for tonight and tomorrow for this Leafs team in the goaltending situation. That'll do it for our line breakdowns. Let's get to our best bet, and we'll do this quickly here for everybody. we're going to keep it simple-ish, okay? Probably maybe not as simple as I just very briefly made that out to be, but we're going to go one player, and we're going two different bets, and we're going to split this one out. And our best bets are brought to you by Bet365, proud partner in Leafs Nation pregame and Leafs Nation After Dark. Open an account, Bet365 today, and bet on a huge range of markets. Use code NATION, NATION, all caps, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. So I'm going to pull up Bet365 site, and we're going to do that and scroll ourselves over to the NHL section. And when we get there, we're going to just bump down. There's a couple of games in play. You want to live bet, you can bet right now on some games that are going on, the games that are coming up. But we're going to look, obviously, here to the Leafs Red Wings game. First, we're going to go to player props, and then we're going to go down to the assists. So this is the first bet that we're going to do here tonight. The reason is because they're splitting up the power play. They're not doing 5 forwards. We're going to look at Morgan Rielly, anytime assist, plus 155. So the thought here, we're going to go a half unit on this one, $50 at plus 155. Couple of things. One, he's just going to get more offensive opportunities being on that first unit. I know that this is not going to sound like it makes a lot of sense, but when you think about it, it will. He's probably going to be shooting the puck a lot more, and I don't think he's a guy who scores with his shot from the point, which you know what that means? Deflections, tip-ins, and rebounds. Morgan Rielly was pushed before he was replaced on this power play to be a guy to shoot the puck more. Well, we saw him shooting it. We saw tips. We saw rebounds. We saw deflections. We saw a lot of other guys capitalizing on those opportunities. I think Berube wants them to play more puck on net style of hockey. Let's not be so fancy. Let's not pass the puck around for too long. Put things on net and good things will happen. And I think Morgan Rielly's going to shoot the puck a lot more. So plus 155, a half unit on that one is going to be our first bet. Now the second one, where I think we're just going to get a little bit of value here, where it's not being necessarily priced correctly and it ties in, is going to be a Morgan Rielly power play point plus 425. We're going to go a quarter unit on this one. So in total today, we're betting 50 on the first one at plus 155 for Rielly to get an assist, 25 on Morgan Rielly power play point at plus 425. The reasoning is a lot of very similar to what I just said there on the assists. Now, mind you, the thought process kind of goes as follows. If he gets the assist at 5-on-5, we're covered, we win, we're positive on the day no matter what. Because $50 at plus 155 profits us 78. Now, the other thing here is obviously if he goes on the power play, he could score, and it's not an assist. Well, if he goes on the power play and he scores, then it's plus 425. We're going to profit $106.25 on that $25 bet. And if he gets an assist on the power play, we are walking away so happy here tonight because we're going to cash the plus 155 and the plus 425. Reality is, I just don't think either of these are being priced fairly here or accurately for what they are. This is about what he was being priced at when he was on the second unit and when he was not playing with Oliver Ekman-Larsson. In that pairing of Philippe Myers, these were about his numbers for assists, points, etc. You're playing a Detroit team that I think you should be able to take care of here tonight. Your power play needs to get going. You need a jolt. You're changing things up. Morgan Rielly's getting an opportunity again, a good spot for him or a good opportunity for him to show out. So that's our best bets for tonight. If you did enjoy it, the pregame show, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel, turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. If you like the bets, drop your comments below. Tell me, are you tailing? Are you fading? Is this a bad bet? Good bet? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Whatever it may be, you guys let me know in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you all following tonight's game against the Detroit Red Wings for another Leafs Nation After Dark. We will see you all here following the final buzzer of tonight's game. Until then, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.